So on your rodeo horses or your open horses, those that go to, jackpots on the weekends, they really don't need drilled, I would say, during the week, but you also just can't kick them out and then grab them and hope that they work good next weekend. So I try to not let them get too bored with the pattern. So I usually try to give them like a day of rest and then maybe pony them for a little bit just to keep them feeling good, but not a ton, usually the day after a race. And they kind of just get a rest. And then the next day I usually try and ride them out in the pasture and just have a good time, or even when they're roping, just clear the arena on them. And then I might pick, Wednesday, where I'll just go and set the barrels up and we'll turn all the barrels to the right. And I don't start back for where I would start my pattern, so I'll just pick up a barrel and warm them up and turn all my barrels to the right and really work on just myself more so than them, and keeping their body, loose and limber. And so I just try to go all of them to the right, not necessarily too tight, but try and have them around like 5 to 10 feet apart, and like go all 3 to the right. Then I'll take a break and then go all 3 to the left. And sometimes I even will like just trot through the pattern, but I never really run them ever during the week, and they usually don't need it. But I think just keeping them soft and that they still can walk through the barrels, trot through, go the speed that you'd ask them to versus just run. I think that's a really big important thing, so that they realize that every time they see a barrel, it's not a speed event, it's just whatever speed that you ask. But you can do a lot mentally throughout the week. If I just am gonna think, okay, here's normally the 3rd, but I'm going to pick it and I'm gonna go to the right. So I'll just pick my positioning, and I'm not turning it as tight as I would a barrel, but I'm gonna really work on sitting back, melting, and then then I can go over here to the next one and go to the right. So I'm gonna have her hip engaged, sit back, melting. So she kind of anticipated that, and that's okay, because I really lean to the outside and then go on. So she knows that she's done this quite a few times. So my hips in, sit back, good girl, Maddie, and then come out. Whoa. So I picked her harder side, the one that she usually needs to work a little bit more on. Her 2nd and 3rd are usually pretty flawless. And so I usually will pick that one, and then even if she's good, then we'll just walk and call it a day. And then Thursday, I usually like to ride again outside, and maybe if I can do a little sprint, then that seems to help them with their wind. And then Friday, we're usually inert somewhere, so that's kind of like how it feels, and then all of a sudden it's winter. But I think just trying to keep them soft is really the key, and just like that they're listening to your body positioning, and not necessarily making runs, because there's just so many of those that they get, and also not getting them too bored.